says here, isn't she? I thought I saw her walk in.
Yeah, it should be better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right.
Sure. Whatever. I'll go across the bridge. And then I got there and of course, like, delayed under the impression that I'm gonna be their new lawyer. I like trying not to say anything because I know that that's not, at least yet,
Yeah.
the case, like nobody has said it.
Yeah.
So,
How long does it take you to get there?
I didn't know either.
ordinarily, so we represent Churchill and the county government is Chestertown, which is 12 minutes. It takes me like.
Yeah.
Hours. Or in the summer, anytime on a Thursday afternoon, which is when they meet. So it took me 1 hour's time. The bridge traffic was terrible. Usually it's really not that bad.
Best place in the world. Right under the bill, Pennsylvania. I wonder if it's one case, they probably didn't.
Want that?
Yes, well, so I was in school.
We're 701.
So.
Good evening, and welcome to this meeting of Westminster's Mayor and Common Council. The council meets here at City Hall on the second or fourth Mondays of every month. Please note that council meetings, although open to the public here at City Hall, are also available and streamed live on the city's YouTube page, as well as the Community Media Center's channel and website. Now I'll begin as we do every meeting with the pledge to the flag, followed by a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. As a courtesy to everyone, please take a moment to silence your cell phones or any other electronic devices you have with you that might disrupt the meeting. Thank you. Copies of tonight's agenda and the entire information packet that council will be using are available online on the city's website. Hard copies of the agenda are available for anybody present at the meeting here in front of you. Under the same law, I have a statement to make for the record about our closed meeting of Monday, July 22nd, 2024. In accordance with the general provisions article, section 3-306C2 of the annotated code of Maryland, and without objection, it is noted that the minutes of tonight's meeting reflect that the Common Council met in a closed meeting on Monday, July 22nd, 2024 at 8:17 p.m. pursuant to general provision of article section 3-305B1 to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials of this public body as jurisdiction. And the other personal matter that affects one or more specific individuals, and B7, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. Motion to close the meeting was made by Mr. Cavacci and seconded by Mr. Hoff, and the motion, the vote to close the meeting was unanimous. Following staff members attended the meeting: City Administrator Imhoff, City Attorney Levan, Superintendent of the Water Reclamation Facility Summerhill, and Attorney Whitworth. The Common Council took official action during the meeting, and the closed meeting adjourned at 9:45 p.m. Thank you. Just want to add one more thing for the before we go any further, that it happens to be Mr. Brown's birthday today. And we are not going to sing happy birthday to him because we would not inflict that on him since we like him very much. But nonetheless, we want to wish him a very happy day. Thank you very much.
I want to sing.
Usually at this time, I introduce special guests, and I'm pleased to note that we have with us the president of the Westminster Municipal Band, Mr. Greg Once. Mr. Once, thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
The Westminster Band, we always say at these meetings, is the best ambassador the city has, and so we're always pleased to support the band and have you with us tonight. Anything you'd like to share with us about what's going on with the band?
Sure, yeah, okay, take a couple minutes. First of all, I just want to thank you all again for the grant that we received again for this fiscal year. It helps with our expenses tremendously. Our biggest expense this past year again was the annual trip down to the Ocean City for Colonel State Firemen's Association. And that kind of takes our budget a little piece down the road, because just to pay for the hotel expense was like 12,000 this year for the membership and stuff. So, you know, your help is greatly appreciated. So, just a few updates. The other thing, I'd like to invite you all to our Belgrove Square concert, which is coming up last Sunday of the month, which is the 25th, I believe. And we start at 6 o'clock out there. So we're hoping for good weather. And so please, you know, try to attend if you can. And we're also very thrilled again to be a proud partner with the City of Rex, Parks and Recs, again at the Fall Fest. So we help Abby out again this year. So it sounds like we have a little extra duty this year.
A little.
As we're going to be helping, of course, with the ticket booth, but we're also going to be helping in the bingo stand. Right. So so we brought that up at our membership meeting last month. So and we're getting a lot of good feedback for that. So we're looking forward to that. That's always a great. We love helping at the Fall Fest. We got a lot of members come out, and it's just a good time to be out there. So. And the other thing, I don't know if you might have noticed, but we did have a new uniform change this year. And it's called our excessive heat summer uniform. And it came out, it helped very much during when we went to Catonsville, 4th of July, and also Havre de Grace, because it was very steamy in those parades. So we were able to get away from the coats. And it's just a uniform shirt that we have the gold braid on the left and city patch on there. So so we were able to finally get that. That was in the works for like 2 years, and we finally got that accomplished. So but everything else is going well. We got a couple new members that came in, and membership is strong, and just you know, we're on our second year of our lease with the Westminster Fire Company, and that's a 10-year lease that we have 40 John Street. So so everything's going well. We're just you know, look forward to another great fall. So
Great, thanks very much.
yeah,
Thanks again for coming in. You know, we've noticed on some of those hot Memorial Day parades, and you guys look a little warm, so.
yeah,
That's the New York from today.
and we're hoping for good weather this year at Fall Fest.
Me too.
And we'll look forward to seeing you at the end of the month and the Fall Fest as well.
Yep.
All right, thanks very much.
Mhm.
Move on now to approval of minutes. We have minutes from the mayor and council meeting of July 22nd and the closed meeting of the same date. We have a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion by Mr. Dayoff and a second by Mr. Kavachi. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it, the ayes have it. Minutes are approved. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 items on the consent calendar. We have a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
There's a motion by Mr. Hoff, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Dayoff. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it, the ayes have it. Consent calendar is approved. Mayor could not be with us this evening, so we will dispense with the report from the mayor. And we will move on to reports from committees. Mr. Dayoff is our liaison to the Carroll County Arts Council. Anything you'd like to share from their activities?
Check the website for the Arts Council. We've got one of my favorite movies coming up, Hidden Figures, sponsored by the League of Women Voters. And we're looking forward to a large turnout. And I really like the movie. It'll be fun to see it on the big screen. That'll be my report.
All right, very good. Thank you, Mr. Dayoff. Mr. Huff, Economic and Community Development.
Nothing particular to report tonight, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Huff. I have nothing in particular to report from the Finance Committee either, or for the Personnel Committee. Public Safety, Mr. Kavachi. I know you must have something to share.
Yeah, a little bit, Mr. President, not too much. On the 6th of this month, the Westminster Police Department, I think along with a number of you here in the room. Unfortunately, I know Mr. Huff and I were both out of town. I was enjoying Hurricane Debbie ruining my vacation in Hilton in South Carolina last week.
Now it's welcoming in Texas.
Yeah, So, you know what, it wasn't all bad, we get to spend a lot of time inside with the family. Anyway, I missed the National Night Out, it's a wonderful event, I think it's the first one I've missed in many years, so I'm sad about that, but our police department, of course, did not. They participated in this community building campaign that promotes police community partnerships and neighborhood camaraderie. The National Association of Town Watch sponsors National Night Out in collaboration with law enforcement and the communities we serve. City of Westminster neighborhoods hosted 4 National Night Out events and block parties, cookouts, and youth activities and visits from the local police department, fire, EMS workers, and some of our elected officials. Then on the 7th, Amy Hines was sworn in as a new Westminster police officer. Officer Hines is a certified police officer who brings over 3 years of municipal policing experience with her, so that's wonderful. And I will say, Chief, you've been doing a great job bringing in these lateral officers and some new ones as well. And everyone that I've come across recently, they really seem solid. It seems like your recruiting efforts have really gone very well recently. Good work.
Very good, thank you, Mr. Kavachi. Ms. Gilbert is not here for the Public Works Committee report. Anything, Mr. Kavachi, you want to share that, right?
Couple water main breaks, that the guys always seem to be dealing with, but other than that, I don't think there's a whole lot's going on, other than maybe some storm cleanup.
All right, very good, and we'll await the thorough recreation and parks report from Ms. Rupert under departmental reports. And I have nothing to report from the technology, Mr. Dale, that's you, technology.
And no report,
Very good,
thank you.
All right. Council comments and discussions, the opportunity for council members to mention anything else that they'd like to share that is not elsewhere on the agenda. Mr. Kavachi, anything?
Good nothing, Mr. President.
Mr. Dehoff?
I appreciated everyone's efforts with National Night Out. It was good to get out with some folks and some of the homeowners associations, and I think it was a good evening. I really appreciate all the work of the police department to make that a great success. Thank you.
Mr. Hall?
Nothing tonight, sir.
Thank you. Well, as we noted in some conversation earlier, we've been a rain the last couple of weeks. Glad to see that we're not having the same conditions we had last summer. I didn't warn you ahead of time, so I won't ask for a report on what the where the reservoir is, but I'm sure that we're doing a lot better than we were last year, so that's good news. We have under goods, we have 2 items. The first is approval of sole source purchase for cellular meters with Badger Meter USA in the amount of $450,000. And I'm going to begin with Ms. Imholz on this so she can preface this subject.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am very pleased to introduce everyone to our new Director of Public Works, Mr. Vance Summerhill, who will take this particular item for us.
Very good, Mr. Summerhill. Welcome.
Thank you. The Utility Maintenance Department has had a partnership with Badger Meters since the start of meter installation in the city of Westminster. Badger meters and endpoints read the amount of water used by the customer and reports the usage to our software, which allows the billing department to bill our customers for the water used. Badger meters hardware and software are compatible with the system we are using. We are asking the Common Council to approve the sole source of Badger Meter USA. The Utility Maintenance Department has already upgraded the 5G cellular endpoints. This purchase would include 1,200 of each meter base, meter registers, and cellular endpoint. The sole source of Badger will continue assisting the Utility Maintenance Department with the accuracy and efficiency of water meter reading. Project funding, this purchase is fully funded in the fiscal year 25 capital budget of $450,000. Staff recommends that the Mayor and Common Council authorize a sole source purchase for Badger Meter USA in the amount of $450,000. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Summerhill. Let's get this properly before us. I have a motion to approve the sole source purchase.
I'll move to approve, Mr. President.
Been a motion by Mr. Kavachi. Is there a second?
Second.
The second by Mr. Dehoff. Any discussion or any questions?
I just have one question, Mr.
Mr.
President.
Hoff.
And I'm sure we've talked about it, just if someone could refresh my memory. This is to replace some of our existing meters, correct? How many more time, how will this complete that, or do we have another fiscal year that we're gonna be buying more meters? I kind of forget.
This does not complete that. This is the beginning of an ongoing purchase that we'll be doing over the next, I think it's even 5 years. I don't think we may even complete it this fiscal year. But this gets us to where we need to be for the next bit.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, because we have, so this is gonna be a continual process that's gonna go on years. Okay,
Yes, we're replacing all of the meters with cellular meters. And we're starting with the ones that are imminently breaking. And then we will put forward a planned approach on how to replace the ones that are not breaking at the moment, that need to be replaced.
these are the ones that are compatible with the app that we've discussed and all that.
That's correct.
That's correct. So
Yes.
that's gonna be a really nice feature as they slowly get upgraded.
It certainly is, yes.
Yeah, okay, great, thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Hall. Any further questions or any other comments, Mr. President? Mr. Dayhoff?
I'm really excited about this. We have the parking meter app and now we have the water meter app. And this is going to give us a lot of efficacies and efficiencies. Especially the notification if there's a water leakage in the house. You can monitor your water use. I happen to be one of the guinea pigs, beta customers on it, and I really like the app. I think it's just another step in establishing Westminster is on the cutting edge of technology and efficient government. I think it's just great stuff. I wonder, Mr. President, if we could do some sort of a press release or something at some point in time about it, because I think people should know about this.
We will encourage the city administrator to take that under advisement and put something out when it's appropriate. So we've got something working for you.
I'm really excited about this. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. President, I'd just like to make a quick comment on the fact that we're sole sourcing this, which typically, it's a pretty large contract. It's gonna obviously be millions of dollars worth of meters when it's all said and done. And typically, with that kind of expenditure, you really wanna bid something like that out. But this is a kind of an example of where we would be, being penny wise and pound foolish if we did that, because we end up with potentially multiple different types of meters with multiple different systems, with multiple different pieces of equipment that need to work on it. Training, the juice wouldn't be worth a squeeze. While I'm not a fan of sole sourcing large amounts like this, in this particular case, it really does make sense. And I think in the end, it will save us money long term. And obviously, we have a lot of confidence in our Director of Public Works and the guidance that he's giving us to do this. So therefore, I'm going to vote in favor of this, even though I don't love the idea of sole sourcing large funds like that, large purchases like this.
Couldn't agree with you more, Mr. Kapachi. Thank you. Anyone else? We've gotten around with everybody. All right.
Maybe I'll follow it up.
Okay.
I also agree with Mr. Kapachi, but I believe we've been with Badger for a long time.
Since we've had meters.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So the change would be, it wouldn't be cost effective at all.
All right. Hearing that, I think we're ready for the vote. All those in favor of approving the sole source purchase, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it, the ayes have it, and the purchase is approved. Next item is approval to purchase a pickup truck, a Ford F-350 from Apple Ford, located at 8800 Stanford Boulevard, Columbia, Maryland, at a total cost of $79,535. Mr. Summerhill.
The city's adopted fiscal year 25 capital budget allocates funding for the replacement of trucks and equipment. This proposed purchase is for a replacement pickup truck. The requested utility vehicle is available via an existing contract between Baltimore County, contract 0004504, and Apple Ford, located at 8800 Stanford Boulevard, Columbia, Maryland. Westminster's procurement code allows the city to piggyback on this competitively awarded contract. The vehicle being purchased is a Ford F-350 for water treatment plant. Further information is provided in the attached quote and specification sheets. The cost of the unit is $79,535, inclusive of all the selected options. The fiscal year 2025 budget for this project is $80,000. Staff recommends that the mayor and common council approve the bid to purchase a pickup truck from Apple Ford in the amount of $79,535.
All right, very good. We can spend the extra $400 on gas. We have a motion to approve the purchase.
Motion to approve.
A motion by Mr. Dayhoff, is there a second? Second by Mr. Kavachi. Any questions or any discussion?
It's a very good price.
Hearing no further discussion, we'll move on to vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it, the ayes have it. And the purchase is approved. Somebody welcome. The board,
Thank you.
Unfinished business, there is no unfinished business of which I'm aware. Does anybody have any unfinished business? Very much. Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. We have one item under new business. Approval of Wickersham change order number 1 and change order number 2. For that, we'll go to Ms. Gruber.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. As you know, Wickersham Construction is the general contractor for the Litchfield Valley Park Event Pavilion and Community Building Project. As Wickersham Construction moved into the primary phase of the project, demolition and discovery, a complete evaluation of the sprinkler system was conducted. As a result of that evaluation, it was discovered that the existing sprinkler system would need to be replaced. Based upon pre-bid questions and answers, Wickersham allocated $920 in their bid submission to evaluate the system, assuming that the existing sprinkler system could be repaired and a portion could be converted into a dry system. The construction budget contains $72,500 to repair the sprinklers and convert the wet sprinkler system in the pavilion space to a dry system. Since it's been determined repair is not an option and a complete replacement of the piping and sprinkler system is required, Wickersham obtained 3 quotes for the installation of the new system. The lowest sprinkler proposal received was $198,640, resulting in a change order request of $126,140. This is reflected in change order number 1 that was attached to the memo in your council packet. Also, during the demolition and discovery phase, the doors and windows were evaluated for potential repair and reuse. Unfortunately, only the small windows in the second floor bathroom area could be reused. All other doors and windows were vandalized or too deteriorated to repair or repurpose. Change order number 2 in the amount of $63,675 reflects the total cost for the installation of the new windows and doors. In summary, installation of the new sprinkler system at $198,640 and installation of new windows and doors at $63,675 with a credit of $72,500 that they had in the budget for repair of the sprinkler system results in a total change in contract price of $189,815,000. The proposed change orders will the proposed change order request will increase the total cost of the original contract, as I said, by $189,815, but will not alter the completion time. As mentioned above, the items requested in the proposed change orders are critical to the clubhouse renovation and furthermore are required by fire and building codes. Funding for this change order request is included in the CIP. There are adequate funds there to accommodate these change orders. With that, staff recommends that the mayor and council approve change order 1 and 2 with Wickersham Construction.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Gruber. May I have a motion to approve the 2 change orders?
Motion to approve.
Got a motion by Mr. Dayhoff. Is there a second?
I'll second.
A second by Mr. Hawk. All right. Questions from Ms. Gruber or any comment?
Mr. President,
Mr. Hawk.
I appreciate the additional information that was sent. I do just have a question for clarification, just to make sure I understanding everything. There were a lot of existing sliders, is that correct? In the multi-purpose room, on that level, there were like sliding glass doors.
They were either sliding glass doors or French doors, and I'm not quite sure.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
And that's part of what we're replacing, is that correct?
yes, that's correct.
So those are either, if they were a sliding door or French door, they're gonna be operational.
Some will be operational and some will be fixed in place. I'm not quite sure without having the plan set in front of me.
Okay, so not all, so we're making some of those operational. And then some of them are just gonna be just plain glass at this point in time.
Correct.
Okay, got you. And I noticed in the memo too, it says something about the north side of the multi-purpose room. We were eliminating some windows and doors.
That's correct. That will actually be the new construction of the shear wall, which will support the transition of the indoor space to the outdoor event space.
Oh, okay, so it's, cause and maybe you can show me, I was just kind of curious where that was on the elevations that are online. But that's fine, I can ask that later. So explain that again to me about the shear wall, So
there's a shear wall that needs to be constructed to carry the load of removing the second floor, which creates then the outdoor pavilion space, because we're actually demolishing the interior of the building where the restaurant and the pro shop were to create this outdoor open air pavilion. And so then they're constructing this solid shear wall, which will carry the load of removing that second floor.
and that's where some of the windows that we were originally having there, were not having there from
Correct,
a support standpoint. Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
of course.
Thank you. Any other questions? Or any comments? So I understand from the memo from Ms. Rogers, who couldn't be with us this evening, that we had a contingency fund of $190,000, and that these changes come to just under that. Correct?
Yes, we were aware of these change order, of the likelihood of these change orders when we put the budget together for fiscal year 25.
Right, and based on what we knew about the building ahead of time, I think, is it safe to say that we're not anticipating any other significant change orders, or do we not know that yet?
We're not aware of any right now, but it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility, as sometimes happens in construction projects.
For the best. Hearing no further questions or comments, we'll move on to a vote. All those in favor of approving the change orders number 1 and 2, please say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have, the ayes have it, and the change orders are approved. We'll move on now to departmental reports. And we through those, we will ask Ms. Holmes to do that.
Thank you, sir. Staff's been busy with the usual summer things and also busy trying to catch up from vacations and time off as well. So we have a fairly short report for you tonight. We'll start off with Ms. Gerber.
It's gonna get whiplash. Thank you so much. Just a couple of things to report in on. I'm happy to say that now that we have completed the renovation of the city park pickleball courts, we are able to begin holding our leagues again. We had to skip our spring and summer league, and it was sorely missed by our pickleball playing community. So we were now able to open registration for our summer fall pickleball league. That registration opened on July 16th. Our league is held on Wednesday nights, and it does accommodate beginner, intermediate, and advanced players. And for this particular league, 39 teams are registered, and the league will continue through October 2nd. Also notable, if anyone out there has been contemplating a pool membership, there's still lots of swimming left to do. And we put our pool memberships on sale during the month of August for 50% off. So anyone that wants to try us out, this is a great time to do so and experience the Westminster City Pool to decide if you want to have a membership for the full season next summer. Also, VIP table tickets are on sale for the Oyster Stroll. The Oyster Stroll is scheduled for October 12th. And anyone interested in purchasing a VIP table for our Oyster Stroll should call the Recreation and Parks Department or visit our website. And lastly, we invite everyone to please stop by Locust Lane on Thursday, August 22nd from 4 to 6 p.m., where we will kick off the Kindness Stroll. Action for Kindness and obviously the City of Westminster are partnered up for a fun old-fashioned ice cream social with some crafts and games. We'll have pretzels of positivity and kindness cones filled with ice cream. So come out and join us. We'd love to see you there. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Gerber. Are there any questions for the Recreation Department?
I've got one, Ms. Imhoff. So the Wednesday night pickleball league, what are the hours that's gonna run?
So it is running now. Play starts at 5 p.m. It should be concluded by 8:30, the very latest 9 p.m. If it rains on a Wednesday night, we do play on Thursday nights, same hours.
Can we get some lights so we can run later?
My neighbors would, yeah. Yeah, no. Once they go to those felt balls, I think I'll hear it all. Because apparently they're coming out with a quieter ball, supposedly.
Oh, really? I'll have to look into that.
That's, I've paid more attention to pickleball than I ever have, now that those courts are right there from, hearing from my neighbors. Right.
We'll be sure to budget for some of that.
It's a loud sport.
Yeah,
It
and
is,
they,
it is surprisingly loud later in the evening when it's quiet. You're like, who's hammering wood around us? And apparently that's pretty common, you know, the neighborhoods struggle with that, the noise it creates.
All right, hearing no other questions for the Recreation Department, we will move on to the Public Works Department, Mr. Summerhill.
There are two items tonight. We're in the process of tree trimming with Bartlett. They're doing the tree trimming through town. They got a little delayed due to the storm that we had. They had to shift their forces elsewhere, but they'll be back. And our water main project is almost finished. They put the last piece of pipe in the ground, but they still have, they've hooked everybody up. But they still have, like, the old water main needs to be filled with flowable fill, the old 6-inch line. They need, there's probably a month and a half of finishing up to do on that project. But the pipe has been laid.
Will the finishing up run the length of Main Street or just down on West Main?
Probably where the old main was, they gotta fill that with flowable fill and get that all taken care of. So it might be more than just that area.
Mr. President, we can get some more information on that for you.
Just curious, Mr. President. Mr. Taylor. You have to fill both of them?
The old 6-inch line,
Yeah.
yeah, they have to fill
Both
that.
of them have to be filled.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Are there any other questions for the Public Works Department? So glad to have you, Mr. Summerhill. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, hearing nothing else, we'll move on to the IT Department. Mr. Moore.
So most, very short tonight, business as usual for us. The only thing notable this week, we did meet with our financial audit to complete the IT part of that assessment. It went very well today. That's all I have.
Are there any questions for the IT Director? Hearing none, we will move on to the HR Director.
Thank you, Mr. Halls. Just want to report that we finally hired a risk and safety manager to support the department.
Excellent.
So just want to let you guys know that, and that's all I have to report tonight.
Are there any questions for the HR Director? Mr. Mayor, moving on to the Planning Department. Mr.
Thank you.
Tebow.
Good evening, Mr. Summerhill. Welcome. Greatly appreciate your attendance. On August 6th, the Board of Zoning Appeals approved case 2404, an application requesting approval for an additional 45.56 square feet of signage for the Outback building. This was for the Australian shaped sign. It put them over the total allowed of the amount, and they were approved for that additional sign. On April 3rd, the Historic District Commission reviewed the demolition permit and approved the structural report for 177 Pennsylvania Avenue. This is a McDaniel College property. It's right across the street of the intersection of Pennsylvania and Ward Avenue. It's right at the corner there. It's been sitting vacant for multiple years, dilapidated, so they will be tearing that down. maybe next summer, and no plans as of yet when, if and when new construction would happen on that site. The Historic District Commission discussed and approved attending the Celebrating America Fall History Expo, which is to be October 5th at Exploration Commons. And they also discussed the Historic District Inventory Project and the nation's 250th anniversary. The Planning and Zoning Commission meeting scheduled for August 15th is being rescheduled to August 29th. The purpose of this meeting is to hold a work session for 2 residential projects. This is the Willows, which is located northeast of the Pennsylvania Avenue Sullivan Road intersection, and the Sunny Place condos, which is located at 222 East Green Street. And that completes my report.
Are there any questions for the planning director?
I have one quick one. So when the college tears that building down, or anybody for that matter, they have a water allocation, right? So I assume it's a residential allocation,
Yes.
235 or whatever. What happens with that water?
They-
Since there's no plans for them to, rebuild anytime soon.
They would lose that allocation. So
Take that water back and
yes,
put it onto the table.
yes.
Wouldn't we have done that already since it's been vacant for some time?
No, they've had the water meter. If they were to remove the water meter and shut off internally, and we're aware of that, we essentially consider that demoed and they lose their water allocation.
What's the address of that property again? That's
177 Pennsylvania Avenue.
177.
And I assume we did a historic survey.
The structural report was completed and approved by the Historic District Commission.
If I may. Not quite related to the Outback sign, but I heard that the opening of the Outback, and I'm not sure what metrics they were using, but the opening of the Outback in Westminster was one of the best they've ever had worldwide. I don't know what does that mean. Sales, does that mean? The number of folks that came in, they were extremely excited about the opening really well. The manager is Tony Gerald's brother. So it went extremely well. So folks are really excited to come to Westminster, and we're excited about that. That's all, Mr. President. Thank you.
There are no further questions from the planning department. We will move on to the housing department, Mr. Brown.
Thank you. Good evening. Just wanted to update you on the rental housing license. As you know, licenses expire on June 30th of each year. And the progress thus far has been really good. The response has been really good in terms of people trying to get everything in. I think we all learned some lessons over the years. And I've been very pleased with the progress that we've done so far. As of the 31st of July, 880 licenses have been issued, which is amazing. And we still have a few stragglers, but I have every confidence that they're slowly coming in. As you also may know, that each month that they go past July 31st, there is a late fee that attaches up to for a year up to $250, and then it goes to a maximum of $450 for each if they go past 2 years. So that's all I have. I'll answer any questions that the council may have.
Mr. Brown, first off, I just want to compliment your department as far as, because I've noticed since you have been there, as far as the efficiency of getting out the notices and all of that is much better, because there was a couple years before your time where like notices did not go out and then people forget to pay and it can kind of create some issues. My other question for you is, this is anecdotal, so I don't know, but someone had said something to me about a property that isn't registered that should be registered. Do we still run across that occasionally, and what is our policy for something like that? How far back in time do you go? Because like sometimes you'll discover this when you're selling a property Because if you have an astute purchaser, they're like, are you registered? And then they're like, you're not. Well, wait a minute, I don't wanna buy your property without being properly registered. How do we tend to handle those issues? Does it tend to be a case by case basis, or do we have a formal, like, policy with that?
Generally, what happens is if we discover that someone is supposedly registered and they're not, then we have sort of a system internally. And usually it sometimes involve either when they get ready to sell, then we'll get notice there because they'll do a check to see whether or not there are any liens or code violations. So if we discover it, we discover it during that process. Sometimes we do our own research. Sometimes it's like word of mouth from other people. And sometimes it's a review of looking at our records and we'll determine whether someone hasn't renewed their licenses. If we discover it first, we'll send them a letter just to make sure that they haven't sold the property. So in some cases, they sell the property, we may not know about it. Some cases we run across where there are people that still may not have rented the property out. We recently ran across a landlord and we thought that he had been renting the property, but we discovered that the property had been badly damaged. And there was a period in which they did not rent the property. So we were able to work through those kinds of things. But we have, I think, a fairly good system in place for detecting when people don't renew their licenses. And when we discover it, there's a notice that goes to them, giving them an opportunity to see whether or not our information is correct and that they have not renewed their license for a period of time. And if our information is correct, then we work with them to pay anywhere from, depending on the length of time, if it's less than a year, it's like less than $250. If it's more than that, we have a maximum of $450 if it's more than 2 years old.
Gotcha, okay. Thank you.
Mr. President. I have a high school classmate that rented out her parents' house. She's rented it to the same person for over 25 years. She got in touch with me and I put her in contact with Mr. Brown and she was extraordinarily happy with customer service. And I get that feedback constantly from my colleagues who are landlords. But she did not have a rental license. She hasn't been to Westminster in 25 years. She's had the same tenant for all those years. And it changed over and I put her in contact with Mr. Brown. It's just handled seamlessly. I don't remember the outcome because I didn't get involved, but it just worked out perfectly. So thank you. I really appreciate not hearing complaints from landlords every other week. I don't hear complaints at all. I hear nothing but praise about the customer service. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, that's really good to hear. Thank you. Hearing no more questions for the housing department, we will move on to the police department. Chief Ledwell.
Thank you. Good evening, council members. Bishop's Garth Apartment Complex rescheduled their National Night Out event due to concerns for the weather. So they're going to be holding it tomorrow evening from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. So we will be out there with them. We're also bringing on board another certified police officer. I believe I mentioned before. Her name is Ashley Harris. She starts work tomorrow. We'll go through firearms qualification with Officer Hines. Then we'll have the swearing in and both of them will complete field training. So we're looking forward to getting them on the street. That's all I have to report, unless you have any questions.
Are there any questions for the chief? Mr. President, that concludes the departmental reports.
All right, very good. Thank you, Ms. Nichols. The final item on our agenda is citizens' comments, where we invite the public to address the mayor and council on any issues that pertain to tonight's agenda or any other city issue. For citizens not attending the public meeting, we invite you to send us your comments or concerns via email at comments@westminstermd.gov. All comments received by email will be shared with the mayor of Millsboro. Commenters should please include their address and phone number with their comments. We'll now invite comments from anyone who is present this evening. If anybody would like to be heard, please state your name and address for the record. Anyone would like to be heard?
I have a question. You were talking about the Wakefield Valley. Is that the old golf course?
Yes.
Out there?
Yes.
So what is that becoming? What's that? When you changing that into? It's gonna be up.
It's gonna be a event facility,
Oh, okay.
And a pavilion, which might be great for.
indoor and outdoor events.
Yeah.
You know, might be great for the band.
Mhm.
If you go to our website, you can see like some of the elevations and everything.
Okay.
I have to get the band out there to play.
That'd be nice.
Nice. Anyone else? Okay, well, then that concludes our agenda and the meeting. And with that, without objection, we are adjourned.
9:28.
Well.